Let's talk Caleb Hood coming into his last opportunity here as a Tar Heel. Highly recruited, played quarterback in high school. Trevor, I'm going to kick it to you. Talk to us a little bit about Hood, what he needs to do. We got to be able to rely on him. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, man, he's a dude that I think if we can get a full healthy season out of Caleb, man, he's got a ton of potential. He, like you said, a quarterback, came out of Richmond High, big in-state program, and I want to say his senior year, him and Drake actually played in the state playoffs, and I believe Drake ended up winning, but we saw him throw a little bit in the bowl game. I think he was a big spark plug when we put him in Wildcat in that bowl game, and he was a big addition. I wish we would have did it a little earlier in the game, but he's a dude that if he can stay healthy, man, he can be really good. I remember, I want to say it was his true freshman year. We had a night game against Virginia, and he really burst onto the scene. I think he had a touchdown, couple touchdowns. He showed flashes, man. This Miami game was a good one. This App State game, I think this was a little shovel pass that he took all the way. So he's got breakaway speed, and I really hope that the new strength and conditioning program can be good for him, because he's a dude, man. If he could put a full season together, then Caleb, he could come forward and be the number one back in that room, I think. So we'll see.
Yeah, to definitely, be interested. And also talking about, him playing, quarterback in high school. We saw a little bit of that last year in the bowl game. I think he rolled out to his right and threw a touchdown pass to Copenhagen. Is that right?
Yep. And his dad played at Carolina. So big Carolina family, good family. And I just hope he can put a full season together this year for us.
Yeah, same. Troy, get in here. Talk a little bit about the impact if Hood can stay healthy. We know he's got the talent, but he's just not been able to stay healthy. What would that mean to this running back room?
Yeah, man. The biggest thing with Caleb, the biggest ability is availability. And injuries happen, man. Football is a contact sport. Injuries happen, and it just so happened that he's called a case of the injury bug, and he's worked his tail off to stay healthy, and I think if Caleb can put it all together, I think he's got the real potential to be a very, very impactful running back for Carolina, and in a running back room that's got some depth to it. One of the things that I'm more excited about with Caleb, if he can stay healthy and get on the field, is his ability to pass catch out of the backfield. We've seen some of those highlights there. And I'll tell you this before I lead into that one clip in the beginning of that with his glasses on reminds me of Clark Kent so bad. I don't know what it is. It just reminds me of Clark Kent, where he's cool, calm, and collected when you see him out in public, got his glasses on, sweater, book bag, the whole 9 yards. But on that field, man, you see the tape. He turns into a different beast. And I had the pleasure of watching Caleb a lot when he was in high school at Richmond County. My buddy Michael is a big Richmond Raiders fan, and he's an athlete. Trevor, you mentioned it. His dad played at Carolina, Errol Hood. Carolina family. We talk about bleeding Tar Heel blue. I really do think it runs through that family. But his ability, man, his skill set is something that is very, very fun to watch when he's healthy. He possesses that breakaway speed. I remember watching that App State game, man. It was a close game there at the end, and Caleb takes that shovel pass, man. He didn't score, but that higher altitude to get to you, I can attest to that. I think he scurries into the end zone if he's in Chapel Hill, but his downhill running ability, his ability to catch out of the backfield, be interesting to see how he can pass block. Out of the backfield, really be interested to see how all these running backs can pass block, out of the backfield and take some heat off of Gio. But with Caleb, man, like I said, the best ability is availability, and no fault of his own. Injuries happen, but a player that if he can stay healthy, I really, really think he can be a huge, huge contributor to us this season, especially with his ability to create in open space, make guys miss, catch out of the backfield, and even if you hand the ball off to him, man, he's got a nose for the end zone, and can certainly find open space and move the chains and get you 6 points when you need it. I remember that Duke game, man. Right before half, he caught that little comeback route there at the corner pylon from Drake, and that's just one of the keys that he possesses. So super excited to have Caleb back for this year. I'm praying to God that he can stay healthy, because I think with him, man, his ability to stay on the field would be very, very huge for our running back room and our depth, and just keeping guys fresh. So super excited for Caleb this year.
He's the perfect guy, man. We see Belichick do all kinds of crazy things with players, right? He's like a perfect Belichick guy with his athletic ability, being able to throw the ball. I'm excited to see if we do a little trickery with Caleb.
All good thoughts from the guys there. That's Caleb Hood. If he can stay healthy, he could mean a big difference to this running back room. So we're going to wrap up here. Yep,
I'll tell you this, Trevor. You and I had to look it up real quick because you mentioned the Belichick effect with Caleb and just how he is. It reminds me of almost reminds me of James White, the running back in New England that had that game-winning touchdown against Atlanta. We all know that story and the epic comeback that was. But just watching, if any of our listeners and the Carolina fans want to go back and look at a pretty good Caleb Hood comp in a Bill Belichick offense, go and look at James White. His ability to catch out of the backfield is very, very similar, and I'm looking for him to use him in the same kind of role as this year. Davion, more of a downhill runner. Davion can catch out of the backfield too, but certainly some of those formations where you bunched out wide and you got a halfback right beside of you that leaks out into the flat or does like a little bubble route out of the backfield, just a check down route. Caleb's got the ability to take those and get good chunks of yard and even take one to the crib. So anybody want to watch a Caleb Hood comp, go watch James White from New England, what he did.
Hey Tar Pit crew, thanks for hanging with us today. Quick shout out. Today's episode is powered by Untapped Sports Network. Big thanks to them for the support. If you like this episode, do us a favor. Like it, drop a comment, and share it with a friend. That kind of support goes a long way in keeping the podcast rolling. Make sure you're subscribed and following the Tar Pit Podcast on whatever platform you're listening on right now. And don't forget to follow us on social. We're on X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search the Tar Pit Podcast and you'll find us. Until next time, go Heels.